The sun was just beginning to set over the quiet suburban street, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Birds chirped their evening songs, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the maple trees lining the sidewalks. Alex kicked at a small stone as he walked toward Max's house, humming a tune he had made up a few minutes ago. He liked this time of day. It felt peaceful, almost magical. Max's house was a medium-sized, two-story building, with a bright blue door and a garden full of colorful flowers. It was the kind of place that seemed ordinary from the outside, but Alex had learned long ago that nothing about Max's home was ever quite normal. His best friend's mom, Claire, was an inventor, and her experiments often spilled into the backyard, garage, and sometimes even the living room. Alex raised his hand to knock. Before he could, the door swung open. Claire stood there, a towel wrapped hastily around her body. Her hair was wet and messy, sticking to her forehead in strands. She blinked at Alex and Max, clearly startled. "Oh, hi Alex, I wasn't expecting anyone," she said, adjusting the towel. Max, who had been lounging on the porch, jumped up. "Mom, you can't just open the door like that." Claire rolled her eyes, though there was a faint smile on her face. I know. I was in the middle of testing the climate stabilizer in the bathroom, and it didn't go as planned." Alex blinked. "Climate, what?" "It's a little project I'm working on," Claire said, stepping aside to let Alex in. "Don't worry. Totally safe. Probably. Roover." Alex followed Max inside, trying not to laugh. Max's mom had always been eccentric, but this was something else entirely. The house smelled faintly of ozone and lavender, a combination Alex wasn't sure he liked or understood. As soon as they were inside, a sudden buzzing sound filled the room. Lights flickered, and the refrigerator door opened and closed on its own. Alex's eyes widened. What's happening?" he asked. Max's mom sighed. "Ah. That's probably the climate stabilizer again. Or maybe the toaster. Or, well, honestly, I'm not sure." She hurried over to a strange glowing device on the kitchen counter. It looked like a mix between a radio and a hologram projector, with buttons and levers sticking out at odd angles. Before anyone could react, the device emitted a bright pulse. A strange humming filled the air, and a small object crashed into the backyard with a soft thud. Alex and Max ran to the window to see what had fallen. There, in the middle of the garden, was a device unlike anything Alex had ever seen. It was smooth and metallic, with glowing lines running across its surface. It hovered slightly above the ground, pulsing with a soft blue light. That didn't come from your lab, did it?" Alex asked, looking at Max's mom. Claire shook her head, her eyes wide. "Nope, definitely not, and I did not order anything online recently." She pushed her towel back slightly, revealing a tool belt full of instruments, and stepped outside carefully. Alex and Max followed. The device hummed in a strange rhythm, almost like it was alive. As they approached, a small panel on the device opened, revealing a tiny alien-like sphere inside. The sphere's surface shimmered with rainbow colors, and it seemed to pulse in response to their movements. Alex swallowed hard. "Is it alive?" Claire knelt down, inspecting the device with intense curiosity. "Not alive. At least, not in a human sense. But it's definitely sending some kind of signal. Life." Max bent closer. "A signal? To who?" Claire tapped a few buttons on her handheld scanner. "That's what we're about to find out." The humming grew louder, and the garden was filled with small, flickering lights. The sphere rotated slowly, almost as if it were observing them. Then, as if deciding they were safe, it projected a small, holographic image into the air. Alex blinked. The image showed a small, floating figure. It looked like a miniature astronaut, but its helmet was smooth and featureless. and its body shimmered with the same rainbow colors as the sphere. Max gasped. "Is that an alien?" Claire's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Well, it's certainly not from Earth, but it doesn't look dangerous. Yet. While. The figure tilted its head and waved. Alex hesitated, then waved back. Max laughed, nervously. "Okay. This is officially the weirdest day of my life," Alex muttered. The tiny figure made a series of chirping sounds, and the device hummed in response. Claire adjusted her scanner, trying to decode the sounds. "It's trying to communicate. In some way. Endevend. Indevander. 100. Endavander. Alex's heart pounded. He had always dreamed of meeting aliens, not in a scary way, but in the way you read about in books or saw in movies. And now, here one was, right in Max's backyard. Suddenly, the sphere emitted a stronger pulse. The lights around the garden shimmered, and a faint wind swept through the trees. Max's hair whipped across his face. "Whoa! Did it just make the wind?" Claire nodded. "It's manipulating energy, possibly trying to test us, or maybe just exploring." Alex took a cautious step closer. "Can we touch it?" Claire shook her head. "Better not. We don't know how it works. One wrong move, and we could short-circuit it. Or worse." For a few moments, the three of them watched the device in silence. The colors pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. Alex felt a strange sense of calm, as if the device was friendly. Then, without warning, the device beeped loudly and projected another image. This time, it showed a much larger ship hovering in space, its shape sleek and futuristic. The tiny figure inside the sphere pointed toward it, then back at them. Max frowned. I think it wants us to help it, or maybe warn it?" Claire adjusted her glasses. "Could be. But why here? And why now?" Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. Whatever it is, it picked us. Somehow. The three of them stood in the garden, staring at the hovering device. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the yard. Birds had gone quiet, and the street outside seemed empty. Yet, Alex didn't feel alone. He felt chosen, in a way. Claire finally spoke. "Well, I suppose we're about to have an adventure." Max looked at his mom. "An adventure? Mom, are you serious? What if it's dangerous?" Claire smiled. "Sometimes, Max, the most exciting things in life are a little bit dangerous. But I promise, we'll be careful." Alex took a deep breath. He had no idea what the coming days would bring, but he knew one thing. His quiet, ordinary life had just changed. Forever. As they stared at the mysterious device, Alex couldn't help but laugh. And to think, this all started because you opened the door in a towel. Claire rolled her eyes, but there was a smile on her face. "You have no idea, Alex. You really have no idea." The garden pulsed with soft blue light, the sphere floating gently above the grass. Somewhere far away, a ship waited in orbit, and an adventure beyond imagination was about to begin. Alex, Max, and Claire had no idea what challenges awaited them. But for the first time, they felt the thrill of possibility. The kind that only comes when the ordinary world opens up to something extraordinary. And so, the story began. The next morning, sunlight streamed into Max's bedroom. Alex woke up to the sound of birds singing outside and a faint hum coming from the backyard. He rubbed his eyes and stretched. Yesterday's events seemed almost like a dream, yet the memory of the glowing sphere and the strange device in the garden made his stomach flutter with excitement. He rolled out of bed and noticed Max sitting at his desk, fiddling with a small gadget Claire had left on the table. Morning, Alex mumbled. Max didn't look up. Morning. You should have seen my mom last night. She stayed up, tinkering with the device until 2 in the morning. I think she barely slept. Alex grinned. Sounds about right. So, what now? Is the alien thing still there? Max jumped up and ran to the window. Yeah, it's right there, floating above the garden. It hasn't moved much, but it's glowing brighter than yesterday. Alex and Max hurried downstairs. Claire was already in the kitchen, sipping coffee and examining the device with intense focus. She looked up and smiled at them. Good morning, boys. Ready to meet your new friend? Alex tilted his head. Friend? Claire nodded. Well, yes. It seems harmless, at least for now. And I think it's trying to communicate with us. Somehow, it senses something special about humans. Max raised an eyebrow. Special how? Claire motioned for them to follow her into the backyard. The glowing sphere hovered above the grass, its colors shifting like liquid rainbows. Alex felt a shiver of wonder. Watch this, Claire said. She tapped a few buttons on her scanner, and a small panel on the sphere lit up. The alien figure inside projected itself again, this time moving in a series of patterns, almost like a dance. It's teaching us something, Claire said. Or maybe it's learning about us. Alex frowned. But why us? Why humans? There are billions of people on Earth. Claire smiled knowingly. Sometimes, it's not about numbers. It's about qualities. Humans can think quickly, adapt, and make decisions in ways machines or even aliens sometimes cannot. That might be why it approached us. Max laughed nervously. So, it likes us because we're unpredictable? Exactly, Claire said. Humans are unpredictable. The boys looked at the sphere. It hovered silently for a moment, then projected another image this time, a series of symbols they couldn't recognize. Claire leaned closer to her scanner. These symbols, they're not like any language I've seen, but I think it's trying to show us a map. Somewhere it wants us to go. Or maybe it wants us to understand its home. Alex took a cautious step closer. Do you think it's safe? Claire studied the device carefully. I believe so, but we'll take precautions, and we'll do it slowly. We don't want to scare it, or ourselves. Max frowned. Precautions? Like what? Like making sure we don't touch it without gloves, keeping a safe distance, and that's where humans excel. We think, we improvise, and we adapt. Alex felt a sense of pride. So, humans really do have an advantage over aliens and robots? Claire nodded. Exactly. You two are about to see it firsthand. They spent the rest of the morning observing the device. Alex noticed that it seemed to respond to their emotions. When he smiled, the colors brightened. When Max frowned, it dimmed slightly. Claire explained that the sphere was sensitive to energy, and perhaps even to empathy. See? Claire said. Humans have a unique ability to understand feelings and intentions. That's something machines struggle with. Takes creating. Suddenly, the sphere projected a new image, this time of a small clearing in the forest outside town. The trees were tall and twisted, and a strange glow emanated from the ground. The sphere hovered above the image, then turned to them, as if urging them to go there. Max looked worried. Wait, you mean it wants us to go to the forest? Claire nodded. Yes. It's probably a test. We need to see how well we can work together and solve problems without panicking. Alex felt a surge of excitement. This is like a real adventure. A chance to explore something no human has ever seen. Max groaned. I didn't sign up for forest adventures with aliens. My mom didn't either. Well, maybe she did. But still, Claire laughed. Don't worry, Max. We'll be careful. And Alex, you're going to help us think like humans do. We'll need quick thinking, observation, and creativity. The three of them packed a small backpack with essentials: water bottles, a few snacks, a flashlight, and Claire's scanner. As they stepped into the forest, Alex felt a thrill he had never experienced before. Every rustle of leaves, every shadow, seemed full of mystery. The clearing appeared exactly as the sphere had shown them. Soft glowing plants illuminated the area, and a faint hum filled the air. Alex noticed that the sphere floated ahead, leading the way. Claire knelt down to examine the plants. Interesting. These are bioluminescent. They're reacting to the sphere's energy. Interesting. Max crouched next to her. It's beautiful, but also a little creepy. Alex laughed. Creepy in a good way, Max, like an adventure should be. Suddenly, the sphere emitted a series of rapid pulses. The glowing plants began to shift, forming patterns on the ground. Claire studied the patterns carefully. It's a puzzle, she said. It wants us to understand something. Maybe a message. Maybe directions. Alex felt his heart race. A puzzle? I love puzzles. I love puzzles. Max groaned. Of course you do. I was hoping for a normal walk in the forest. Claire smiled. Alex, Max, pay attention. The key here is teamwork. Humans can notice details and interpret meaning in ways the sphere might not expect. Look at the shapes, the spacing, the timing. Everything matters. They spent the next hour observing and experimenting. Alex noticed that the pulses from the sphere seemed to react differently when he moved left or right, or when Max clapped his hands. Max discovered that stepping on certain glowing patches made the colors change. See, Claire said. This is human ingenuity in action. We notice things, we try different approaches, and we adapt. The sphere may be advanced, but it can't predict human creativity. Finally, after several attempts, the sphere emitted a bright flash and projected a new image. A clear path through the forest, leading to a small, hidden clearing with a shallow pool of water. Alex grinned. We did it. We solved the puzzle. Max laughed in disbelief. I can't believe it. Humans actually have an advantage over aliens. Claire nodded proudly. Exactly. That's why the sphere approached us. It wanted to see how humans could think, react, and work together. As they followed the path, Alex couldn't help but feel a deep sense of wonder. The forest was alive with strange sounds and lights, yet he felt safe with Max and Claire by his side. The sphere floated ahead, pulsing gently, almost as if it were smiling. They reached the hidden clearing, and Alex gasped. The pool reflected the glowing plants and the twilight sky, creating a magical, shimmering scene. The sphere hovered above the water, its colors brighter than ever. Claire knelt beside it. It's showing us it's home, or at least a part of it. Look at the reflections. Everything is connected. Energy, life, thought. Humans understand connection. That's why we're here. Alex smiled. So, our advantage is that we feel, we notice, and we think in ways no machine or alien can predict. Claire nodded. Exactly. That's what makes humans special. Max looked thoughtful. I guess humans really are amazing, even if I don't always believe it. Alex laughed. You just said it, Max. We are amazing. And now we're on an adventure no one else will ever have. As the sun began to set, the three of them sat by the pool, watching the glowing lights dance across the water. Alex felt a sense of pride, excitement, and wonder. The adventure had only just begun. But already, he knew humans had something powerful, something unique, that no alien or robot could ever replicate. Creativity, adaptability, and the ability to connect with the world around them. And with the sphere guiding them, They would soon discover just how far those human strengths could take them. The morning sun filtered through the tall trees of the forest, casting long shadows across the hidden clearing. Alex rubbed his eyes, still amazed by the glowing pool and the alien sphere that floated gently above it. Max yawned loudly beside him, still half asleep despite the excitement of the previous day. Claire was already kneeling by the water, her scanner in hand. She smiled as she looked up at the boys. "Good morning, explorers. Ready for today's adventure?" Alex grinned. "Absolutely. What are we going to do today?" Claire tapped her scanner. "We need to follow the sphere. It's showing us more of its world, or at least a part of it. And I have a feeling we're about to face a bigger challenge." Max groaned. "Bigger challenge? Why does everything we do have to get bigger?" Alex laughed. "Because life is more fun that way, Max." The sphere pulsed brightly, hovering ahead as if urging them forward. They packed their small backpacks and followed it deeper into the forest. The path was narrow, with twisting roots and glowing plants lighting the way. The forest seemed alive, humming with energy that Alex could feel in his chest. After walking for nearly an hour, they reached a clearing unlike any they had seen before. The trees here were taller, their trunks shimmering with a faint silver light. Strange flowers glowed like lanterns, and the air vibrated softly, as if the forest itself was aware of their presence. Alex stepped forward. "Wow. It's beautiful. I've never seen anything like this." Max nodded slowly. "Yeah. Beautiful, and a little scary." Claire studied the sphere closely. "This is where the sphere wants us to learn something important. Look closely at the patterns of the lights and the plants." Alex noticed that some of the glowing plants seemed to move in sync with the sphere. When he took a step forward, a few flowers tilted toward him. Max clapped his hands, and others tilted in response. Claire smiled. "It's testing us again. Humans can notice patterns, connections, and signals that no machine can predict. That's your advantage." Alex felt a thrill of excitement. "So, we solve the puzzle again?" Claire nodded. "Exactly. But this one will be trickier. Pay attention to details. Watch how the sphere reacts." For the next hour, they studied the patterns, testing how their movements and sounds affected the glowing plants. Alex noticed that the sphere seemed to respond not just to their actions, but to their emotions. When he laughed, the lights brightened. When Max frowned, they dimmed slightly. Max sighed. "I'm starting to get it. The sphere. It's like a friend, isn't it?" Claire nodded. "Yes, and friends understand each other through observation and intuition. That's why humans are special. We notice things, we adapt, and we connect emotionally." Finally, after several attempts, the sphere pulsed brightly and projected a new image. This time, it showed a much larger structure in the distance, a tower of silver that rose above the treetops, glowing with the same colors as the sphere. Alex's eyes widened. "That's..." Claire nodded. "Yes, but it's not going to be easy. There may be obstacles we haven't seen yet. That's why the sphere brought us here, to test our ability to work together and think creatively." Max groaned. "Great. Obstacles. Just what I wanted." They followed the path projected by the sphere, which led them to the base of the silver tower. The structure was covered in smooth panels that reflected the forest around it. Alex reached out to touch it, but Claire stopped him. "Not yet," she said. "We need to observe first. Humans are good at noticing things others miss. Look for patterns, clues, or anything unusual." Alex studied the tower carefully. He noticed that some panels had faint symbols etched into them, glowing softly in rhythm with the sphere. Max pointed out that stepping on certain stones around the tower caused the symbols to pulse brighter. Claire smiled. "Exactly. This is another puzzle. We need to solve it to enter the tower." For the next hour, they experimented. Alex stepped on stones in different sequences. Max clapped his hands or waved, and Claire adjusted the scanner to detect energy flows. Slowly, they began to understand the pattern. The tower responded not to brute force, but to observation, timing, and teamwork. Finally, the tower's main door opened silently, revealing a spiral staircase leading upward. Alex gasped. "We did it. We solved it." Max laughed. "I can't believe it. Humans really are amazing." Claire nodded proudly. "Exactly. Our ability to think, adapt, and cooperate gives us an advantage that even advanced technology can't match." They climbed the staircase carefully, following the sphere as it floated ahead. At the top, they emerged into a large chamber filled with soft, glowing light. Strange machines hummed quietly, and walls shimmered with moving patterns of energy. The sphere floated to the center of the room, pulsing rapidly. Claire examined the chamber. "This is incredible. It's like a learning hub. The sphere brought us here to teach us something important." Alex looked around in awe. "It feels alive, like it's aware of us." Claire nodded. "Yes, humans can sense energy, emotion, and intention in ways machines or aliens sometimes cannot. That's why the sphere chose us. We can interact in ways others can't." Suddenly, the sphere projected a holographic map of Earth, showing a network of glowing nodes connected by lines of energy. Alex realized that the lines pulsed in response to the sphere, almost like a heartbeat. Max frowned. What is all this?" Claire studied the map. "It's showing connections, communication networks, energy flows. The sphere is teaching us about balance, harmony, and cooperation. Humans can understand these patterns intuitively. That's our strength." Alex felt a thrill of pride. "So, we're special because we can notice things, solve problems, and connect emotionally?" Claire smiled. "Exactly. That's what makes humans unique. And right now, that uniqueness is our greatest advantage." The sphere pulsed again, projecting a series of symbols that looked like instructions. "It wants us to complete one final test, one that will require all of our observation, creativity, and teamwork." Alex nodded eagerly. "Let's do it," Max groaned. "Of course. We have to do a test. Why can't we just enjoy the glowing forest?" Claire laughed. "Because humans grow through challenges, and this test will show the sphere and ourselves just how capable we are." The test involved arranging glowing crystals in a specific pattern on the floor of the chamber. The crystals responded to touch, movement, and even sound. Alex and Max worked together, following Claire's guidance, testing different sequences and observing how the crystals reacted. At first, they struggled. The crystals seemed unpredictable, and the symbols on the walls shifted constantly. Max nearly gave up several times, but Claire encouraged him to observe closely and think creatively. Slowly, they began to understand. Alex noticed subtle changes in the crystal's colors. Max discovered that clapping in a certain rhythm triggered a response. Claire coordinated their movements, using the scanner to detect energy flows. Finally, after careful observation and teamwork, the crystals aligned perfectly. The chamber lit up in a brilliant glow, and the sphere pulsed rapidly, projecting a holographic message. Humans. Adaptive, observant, connected. Your strengths are your own. Alex's heart raced. "We did it. We passed the test." Max laughed in disbelief. "I can't believe it. Humans actually have an advantage over aliens and advanced machines." Claire nodded proudly. "Exactly. That's why the sphere approached us. It wanted to see human ingenuity, intuition, and cooperation in action." Alex looked around the chamber, feeling a deep sense of pride. The adventure had been challenging, but it had also shown him something important. Humans were capable of extraordinary things when they worked together and trusted their instincts. The sphere hovered above them, pulsing gently. Alex reached out his hand, and the sphere responded by emitting a soft, warm glow. Max joined him, and Claire placed her hand next to theirs. Together, they formed a circle, and the sphere's light enveloped them. For a moment, Alex felt a connection, a bond not just with the sphere, but with Max, Claire, and the world around him. He realized that humans had something unique: the ability to notice, adapt, and connect in ways no other being could. And as they stood there, glowing in the chamber's light, Alex knew that this was only the beginning. The adventure would continue, and humans would face challenges that no machine or alien could predict. But now, he felt ready, because humans had something powerful, something special, something that made them capable of extraordinary things. And with that realization, Alex, Max, and Claire prepared for the next step of their adventure, one that would take them even further, beyond the forest, beyond the familiar world, and into the unknown. The glow of the sphere followed Alex, Max, and Claire as they stepped out of the chamber, descending the spiral staircase back into the forest clearing. The air outside felt fresher, yet carried a faint hum, as though the forest itself was alive and aware of their accomplishment. The sphere floated just above them, pulsing softly, a signal of approval, or perhaps an invitation for the next stage. Claire adjusted her scanner, examining the sphere. "Well done," she said with a smile. "You both showed creativity, observation, and teamwork. But this is just the beginning. There's one final lesson to learn, one that may challenge humans more than puzzles or patterns ever could." Alex frowned. Claire shook her head. "It's hard to explain. We'll have to experience it. The sphere seems to want to show us something outside our world, something we can only understand through intuition and cooperation." Max groaned. "I have a bad feeling about this, but let's get it over with." Refounder. They followed the sphere deeper into the forest, past glowing trees and twisting roots. Soon, the forest opened into a wide clearing, revealing a strange portal hovering above the ground. The portal shimmered with swirling colors, reflecting the twilight sky above. Alex gasped. "Is that real?" he whispered. Claire nodded. "Yes. It's a gateway, a bridge between our world and another. The sphere wants us to step through. But it's not just about going through. We need to understand what lies beyond and find a way to connect." Alex glanced at Max, who looked nervous. "Are we really going in there?" Max shrugged. "Well, we've already solved puzzles and impressed an alien device. I guess going through a portal isn't much worse." The sphere pulsed brightly, almost urging them forward. Taking a deep breath, Alex stepped toward it. Max followed, and Claire was right behind them. The moment they entered the portal, the world shifted. Colors swirled around them like liquid rainbows, and a strange hum vibrated through their bodies. Alex felt weightless, as if floating between time and space. Max grabbed his arm, laughing nervously. "This is insane." Claire held her scanner tightly. "Focus. Both of you. Observe. Adapt. And connect. That's our advantage." The swirling colors settled, and they found themselves on a vast platform floating above a glowing city. The structures shimmered in soft light, and vehicles moved silently along invisible paths. Creatures of various shapes and sizes walked and floated about. None of them seemed hostile, but all were clearly intelligent. Alex's eyes widened. "It's beautiful and huge. How do we even talk to them?" The sphere pulsed and projected a large holographic image above the platform. It depicted a network of glowing lines connecting points in the city. Claire studied it carefully. It's showing us communication patterns. These beings, they operate on energy and signals, not words like us. But humans have intuition. We can understand patterns, adapt, and find connections others might miss. Max frowned. Patterns, signals. Okay. But how do we use that to communicate? Claire smiled. Observation and experimentation. That's all humans really need. They moved carefully across the platform. As they approached a cluster of floating beings, the sphere pulsed brightly. Alex noticed that the colors in the being's energy shifted slightly in response to his movements. Max clapped his hands, and a few of them tilted toward him. Claire nodded. Exactly. They respond to emotion, intention, and creativity. Things humans are naturally good at. Alex smiled. So, we just do what comes naturally? Claire nodded. Yes. Trust your instincts. For the next hour, they experimented. Alex moved in rhythmic patterns, while Max created simple sounds with his voice and clapped to mimic energy pulses. Claire coordinated their actions, guiding them based on the sphere's signals. Slowly, the floating beings began to mirror their movements. Their colors brightened in response, and their gestures became coordinated with Alex and Max. This is amazing, Alex whispered. They're understanding us. Max laughed in disbelief. Humans really are amazing. I can't believe it. Claire smiled. Exactly. The beings respond to creativity, intuition, and connection. That's our strength. That's why the sphere brought us here. Humans can communicate in ways no machine or alien can predict. Suddenly, the sphere pulsed rapidly, projecting a large holographic map of their own world. It showed the Earth from orbit, with faint glowing lines stretching across continents similar to the city below. Claire studied it. It wants us to share what we've learned with our world, to connect humans and alien technology in a way that benefits both. And we can do it, because humans understand connection in a way others cannot. Alex nodded, feeling a surge of pride. Max grinned. I guess humans really do have an advantage. Claire tapped a few buttons on her scanner. Exactly. Observation, adaptation, creativity, intuition. These are uniquely human strengths. And right now, they're what will save the day. The floating beings began to form a circle around them, their energy glowing brighter with every movement. The sphere pulsed rapidly, and Alex felt a strange warmth spreading through him. He realized that humans were capable of something extraordinary, not just solving puzzles or following patterns, but connecting with beings completely different from themselves. Alex reached out his hand, and the sphere responded, sending a soft wave of light that spread across the platform. Max followed, and Claire placed her hand beside theirs. Together, their energy combined with the sphere and the floating beings, creating a network of connection that pulsed across the city and beyond. The beings reacted positively, their colors shifting into beautiful patterns. Alex laughed, feeling pure joy. We did it! We actually did it! Max clapped his hands. Humans, unbeatable. Claire smiled proudly. Not unbeatable, Max, but uniquely capable. That's the lesson here. Machines, aliens, or anyone else can't predict human creativity and intuition. That's our true advantage. The sphere pulsed one final time, projecting a message in symbols they could now understand. Humans. Adaptable, observant, connected. You bring harmony and understanding where others cannot. Your world is ready to grow with us. Alex felt a rush of excitement. We actually helped them, and our world too. Max nodded, smiling broadly. I guess humans really can do amazing things. Even me. Claire looked at both of them. Exactly. And now, this is just the beginning. We've proven what humans can do. The future is full of possibilities, and with the right curiosity and courage, humans can accomplish extraordinary things. The sphere slowly floated toward a glowing portal, signaling that it was time to return. Alex, Max, and Claire stepped through, feeling the familiar swirl of colors and sounds. When they emerged back in the forest clearing near the hidden pool, everything seemed quieter, but the sense of accomplishment lingered. Alex looked at the sphere. "Thank you for showing us this, for trusting humans." The sphere pulsed softly, then slowly drifted away, disappearing into the sky. Alex watched it go, feeling a mixture of awe and pride. Max stretched and yawned. "Well, that was insane. But I have to admit, humans are pretty awesome." Claire laughed. "Yes, you are. And today, you both showed that being human is something truly special. Creativity, intuition, adaptability, and empathy. That's what makes you capable of extraordinary things." Alex smiled. "I guess our adventure is just beginning. But now I know something important. Humans can face challenges, connect with others, and solve problems in ways no one else can." Max nodded. "Yeah, humans rock, even if life is weird sometimes." The three of them walked back to Max's house, the forest glowing softly behind them. Alex felt a deep sense of wonder and pride. The adventure had been full of challenges, puzzles, and surprises, but it had also shown him the true power of being human. And as they stepped inside the familiar house, Alex realized that life would never be the same. Humans had proven themselves not just to aliens, but to themselves. Because no matter the puzzles, the challenges, or the unknown, humans had something unique: the ability to think, feel, and connect in ways that no machine or alien could replicate. And that was the greatest adventure of all.